Hey YouTube, here is our obligatory camper van tour.
This is Claire, she's from Sheffield. And this is me, Andy, I'm from Tarn. We are husband and wife and come from a place many call God's country, Barnsley. The great thing about living in Barnsley is there's always somewhere different to be. This is where this beast of a man comes in. This is our self-converted camper van, St. Christopher of Atlantis. Talk about beasts, this is our wolf Pablo. He comes with us as our security. Having this van has made me the master of my universe. I can go wherever Claire says I can go when she says I can. If anyone can better that, then let me know in the comments section. Anyway, here's some stuff we did.
So we're going to show you around St. Christopher of Atlantis. So when we decided that we're going to get a camper van, we had a few things that we had to think about. Number one, it was going to be my daily drive, so I didn't want it to be too long. We went for a short wheelbase. The other thing I didn't want is to pay a VAT because it was not for business, it was for private use. But here in the UK, a lot of the vans that you see for sale have VAT added, so you got to pay an extra 20% on top of the purchase price. And it's important to remember that the van is not worth the extra 20%, so you're just basically losing that money. You've got no way of reclaiming it if you're buying it for private use. So you can buy vans that have no VAT because they're being used for private use and not for business, but there aren't as many around, so you do have to dig deep. So we decided to go for a Vauxhall Vivaro, one, because I found one that didn't have VAT on there, and two, because we thought it looked okay. It looked pretty good. We got a 2016 model. It is quite high mileage, but we factored that into the price. And both myself and Claire have had very nice cars with low mileage, and a lot of them have had problems, and we're talking big brand cars, premium badge cars. And also, if you've got a premium badge car, then the parts are more expensive, and so is the labor. And I kind of got tired of that game, which is another reason why we decided to come down this route of the camper van. So coming from a nice car, I wanted to make sure that the cockpit in St. Christopher was pretty good. I looked at buying a head unit and fitting that, and they're pretty smart. I've seen people that have got them, and I've used one, and yeah, they're great. But I wanted something that was a little bit more removable and had a few more features for when we were out and about doing other things. So I came up with the idea of using some magnetic mounts, which I stuck to the existing head unit, and then I could put an iPad on there. When we're driving, we use Waze. The Waze app gives us all the navigation that we need, and we can also listen to Spotify, Apple Music, podcasts from inside that app, and that works really well. It's all hands-free, comes through the Bluetooth in the van. Happy days. St. Christopher is not a perfect specimen. He's not like a VW California that's brand new and £70,000. We knew this when we bought him, and the reason for that is never done it before. I knew that I was going to have some problems, I'd make some mistakes, and I didn't want to get too upset about trashing a beautiful brand new van. So he is a little bit rough around the edges, but I'm pretty cool with things being rough around the edges, which is why I married Claire. Moving on swiftly and having a look at the outside of the van, I put some windows on each side, 2 windows. I got these from a company called Van Pimps. They were very good. Just type in what model of your van it is, and you can find which window or windows you need, order them, they turn up, they've got a fitting kit, and it's all good. You do have to cut out to the side of the panel, and if you've never done something like that before, it is quite a nervous day. I used a drill to drill around the outline of where I was going to cut, and then that allowed me to put a jigsaw in there and cut around with the jigsaw. I used a metal blade that had a fine tooth on it, and on the bottom of the jigsaw I put a bit of cardboard just to protect the paintwork. If I'm honest, I didn't 100% protect the paintwork because it did slip a little bit. I got a few little scratches, nothing too bad, but so be. We're here to have a good time, not to polish our van. So that went in. The first window, disaster in some respects, because I hadn't taken the adhesive away from the double skin part of the panel. I had a problem with the beading that went on. I didn't warm the sealant up, and it was like -2 degrees when I did it because I just wanted to do it. So that didn't come out very well. I ended up breaking the trigger gun for the sealant midway through because of the pressure that I was putting on it to get the sealant out. And then I ended up having to cut the sealant tube in half and applying it with a spoon. Please do not do this. This is not the correct way to install windows, and don't worry, I won't be supplying my skills professionally. However, the second window went straight in because I'd learnt from it. When you've got the trim beading, this can be a bit of a problem. But I found a video on YouTube, a top tip. When you're putting the trim beading on, say this is the van panel and you've got your beading, what you need to do is to bend the beading back so that it opens it up and it just moves onto the panel, onto the edge of the panel really, really easily. And that saved me a lot of problems. And that went on great, no problem. So the mains hookup, that was okay. I can't remember where we bought that from. I tried to draw around the shape of the mains hookup. It didn't come supplied with a template, which was slightly annoying, but I made one myself. I put the masking tape on there and then I cut it out all the way around. Didn't quite fit in. I used the file, still couldn't get it to quite fit in, so I thought I'd shave a little bit off with the jigsaw, and I managed to get a gap once I'd fit it, which wasn't ideal. So what I did was I got a little bit of the panel that I had cut out, and I basically stuck it back in and covered it in Sikaflex. It looks white, it holds it. I know it's there. Now you do. Don't tell anybody. So as we come to the back, we decided to put a rear camera in there. It's not a difficult van to drive. I could probably get away without it, but a couple of times it has saved me skin, and I would have probably reversed a little bit further than what I needed to. So that's been really good. So opening the back doors. So we had to decide what was going to work best for us. We tried to plan out how we'd use the van, and we knew that in winter, if we were out using the van camping, then in all reality it would be walking, and then we go to a pub, and then after the pub we'd go straight to sleep, and then in the morning we'd wake up, we'd have a cup of coffee, and then we'd walk again. In the summer, if we were relaxing around the van, then we would be sat outside, and if it was rubbish weather, then we'd probably be doing something else. So we didn't feel the need to have a sofa, and we went for the fixed bed idea, which meant that we didn't have any setting up to do. We could just get into the bed when we were tired. We didn't have to move things around. It's such a small space anyway, and I'm 6'4". I'm not the easiest person to move around in the back of a short wheelbase van. So we went for that. That also gave us the added benefit of having storage all underneath the bed. And what we've done with that is we've put some boxes from B&M at £8, as you can see. And we've filled that with things that we're going to take with us. And they're organised eventually into bundles of things that are all related. So at the back, we can have our tools, we can have our stove, all that type of thing, extra clothes, everything. We've got plenty of room to take everything. And that's what happens there. We have a sideboard, we've got a sink on there, we have a tap, we can put our stove on there, we've got a Tassimo because we're posh, because we're from Barnsley, and we like to have lattes on there, and cappuccinos, and mochas, because, we're basically connoisseurs of coffee, and we really, really enjoy the flavours. So for the electric, we have an EcoFlow that we put into the van when we are with it. And that runs some of the lights. It runs some home pods that we take with us so we can listen to music. It runs all the charging for everything. It's basically the electrics of the van. It's brilliant. It's quick to charge. It can basically power anything, and it lasts a long time. So they're well recommended. You can see on our EcoFlow there, this shot was taken in February. It was taken at about 9:30 in the morning in the north of England, and it's charging. so it just keeps getting charged all the time. Rarely have to plug it in. It's only if we like using it for heavy stuff. But basically we do one trip, and then by the time we're ready for the next trip, even in winter, it's basically charged up again, ready. So that's been brilliant. So we carpeted the walls. We bought a crappy little sign from B&M that was in the bargain basket. Nobody wanted it, felt sorry for it. We brought it home. Now it's a part of us. We have got a strip light, a neon strip light that goes hidden behind some tongued and grooved. On the night time, it creates a really, really cool effect. It's nice and soft light, nothing too glaring, and you can put that on, still see what you're doing, but it's not too sharp. The problem with being in such a small area, you can have lights glaring at you, and we didn't want that. Talk about glaring lights, we do have the ones on the side. Now these are magnetic. They attach to a little ball joint that you screw into the side of the van, and then there's like it's magnetic how it sits onto the ball joint, so you can twist it round, move it around, and you can also take it off the ball joint and use it as a torch. I think these have been a really, really cool thing to put in the van. We use it if you need to like go out from the van, you know, and to look at anything under the van. You can look at things that are in tight spaces with it, all sorts of things. And they charge with USB. They do not take long to charge, and they last a long, long time. So for the tiling, that is an adhesive sticker, and we love the look. They're not the easiest thing to work with, to be fair. They are quite brittle. They do snap, they do crack, they don't stick too well, but we like it. How long it lasts, we don't know. If it doesn't last that long, we'll just change the colour and off we go. So we've got a little plant just for that Insta look, because we like that look. St. Chris is a real van, not an Instagram van. But this gives us a bit of hope that maybe one day we can be as cool as those guys. So this is for the diesel heater, and you can control it from there. I tend to use Bluetooth from my phone just because I'm that big that I'll probably end up slotting somebody if I reach out for the program module on the side. So I'd just like to keep myself a little bit more contained so that nobody gets injured. Underneath that, we've got the humidity and temperature of the van, which is really good because Claire says it's cold. This tells me it's not. It helps me to win arguments. We have a 12-volt fridge, which is absolutely fantastic. It's a Alpicool fridge, 20 litre. We can get all the main essentials in there, and sometimes we even put butter in there. But this can run off the EcoFlow without any solar, without charging up. We'll get 8-9 days of use, which is pretty good, we think. So even if we're stranded in a desert, the engine breaks down, nothing else is working, at least we've got beer, okay? So the sink and tap arrangement, we got this cheap tap from Amazon. It's fantastic. It was about £14. It runs on a rechargeable battery, and you press the button and it's got a pump included in the actual device of the tap, and that just sucks water up from a little tank that's underneath the sink. We've got our wastewater under there, and we've got fresh water, and then we also have the diesel tank for the Chinese heater. So it's a nice little contained area there. I can just open the side door, get in there, get everything sorted. There is a bit of a distance between the diesel and the other waters, and they're quite contained, so obviously we're not drinking diesel, which might not be the best thing. So the curtains, we got a curtain from somewhere, I can't remember. It's on a rail, it's only thin material, it's pretty good as a blackout material, and when you're in the back of the van with everything closed up, it feels like it's night time. So that's really good for if you want an afternoon nap or you want a bit of privacy. It's really good. The curtains on the side, it's just blackout material that I bought off Amazon. I and ahed about this. I was going to put some Roman blinds in there. I was going to buy the little rails that you can get that fit to the actual van, but I decided to box the windows out somewhat because I like a bit more privacy. I don't want people looking into the van all the time. I don't want to have the curtains closed all the time. So I did frame the windows out somewhat. And this was a cheap solution, but it's also probably the best solution for us. It doesn't take any room up. It works off press studs, and basically we just press stud the sheet up, and we get total blackout from that. And if we want to open it, we take those off, and then we just stash the curtains somewhere else. You can see that we've got all the safety stuff. We've got a carbon monoxide alarm. We've also got a fire extinguisher. We have a car battery, and it's got a little hole next to it for the gases to escape. So we did look into all that for when we're recharging. But basically, this little battery, the reason why we've got that, it's a cheap little battery. It's only small, but it runs the 12 volt for the diesel heater. And this is because we tried to run it from the EcoFlow, as I've mentioned in other videos, but it didn't quite do it. So this does the job. It now means that we've got separate systems. The heater is separate to the other electrical system. The fuel for the heater is separate to the van because it's got its own tank. Everything is running off its own system. So if one fails, we've still got some other means of surviving, especially when we're in a place like Filey on a campsite and survival's key. So that is our van tour. Let me know in the comments down below if you think we should have done some things different, we could have done things better, if you want to trash my DIY skills, if you want to tell me that you don't like our van and yours is better, just go ahead and put them in the comments. Help us if you like the video so that we know if we're doing things right, and also if you would subscribe to us, and that would be absolutely fantastic. But until next time, we shall see you later.